it's Caroline. Thank you for joining me today. I have a couple of things that I'd like to show, and I'm going to make some with you. I had made some envelopes from some of my leftovers from another project, and I wanted to share my process. It's so easy. Everybody's been doing this. My inspiration for this was from Lori Girl on the Ridge, and I used, this was some of my leftovers from Old Dulcina, one of my design team projects. So I used the leftover coffee stained paper and some of the scraps, the little scraps from the edge, and I edged it with my sewing machine, just sewed it on, filled it up with a few little fun tags and different ephemera, and then I took some of my fabric scraps and lace, a stamp, and I just decorated it a little bit like this, and I added a paper clip to hold it together. And then I made this one and that's what I'm going to show you today. This one was made with this is my scrap storage book that I had started a couple of years ago, and it is filling up, and I wanted to do something with some of these pages. So I thought I pulled out the first one that was available, and it's just all different scraps from different projects that I glue on at the end of the day. Sometimes I do it weekly, and then I added some more of my coffee stained design papers, and I put in some of my scrap papers held with a piece of washi tape just to write on. And I embellished it a little bit with a scrap of denim, some cheesecloth, a strip of paper that I made into a ruffle, a little tag, and I added it with a bulb pin. And this one I'm just keeping kind of plain and grungy because of the scrappy master board work that I did on here. And I sewed around the edges. And this one is also held closed with a tiny paper clip. You could put a piece of scrap fabric around there or some embroidery floss. Last night before my bedtime project was using some magazine scraps of, this was left over from another project that I did, a little ruffle that I made with my pattern paper, and I took a piece of that and added some scraps to it with a button, did a little tack on each end, and that is a really fun cluster. And I made another cluster with some more leftovers, used here's a piece of tightly woven cotton that I stamped on just for fun. And I did the same thing. I just added them all together. That's what I'm going to share with you. Master board scrap storage book. I'm going to go in sequence here. I'm going to take this one. I'll work on that. And so I want to cover the back of it. And what I'm doing is I'm going to use the rest of this pattern paper. I've got all kinds of scraps here. So I'm going to line it with this. Nothing special, nothing precise. And I'm going to add a little bit of my Elmer's glue just to the middle because I will be sewing around this. This is a project that you can do and you do not have to sew. Any of the things that I do, you don't have to sew. I love the look of sewing. And then I will take my scissors and do a rough cut around here. And I don't mind if there's some of the edge showing. I need something, well, I don't need it, but I would like it. Something decorative for the outside here. And I do have a think for this one I'm going to use gel printing that I had made, and let's see if I can use some of this on here. I'm using scraps, trying to take care of some of my fun, my valued mess. And here I have white, but that's okay. It's going to be on the inside. I want to keep this really simple. Oops. The reason I'm using the pattern paper, which you don't have to, I like the feel of it. It adds to the crinkle, the crunch, the texture. This has no direction. Well, it kind of does. Maybe I'll go this way. I don't know which way this. Wait, I'm going to fold it up like that. And so this is not a precise measurement either. This doesn't fit all the way up, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to go and sew it. I'll be able to fold it. I like these little papers that are hanging out of the edge. A fun way, one more fun way to use up scraps. This could be kind of crunched in. This is going to be the fold here. You can make your pocket deep, or not your pocket, but your envelope as deep or as shallow. A little bit of lift, but I'll fix that after. Going to make the envelope with the bird right side up and the flap like this, so I'm going to have lots of space to fit something in here. I'm just making sure that I have all the edges enclosed. And I used a zigzag to close off the bottom. I could have went a little higher. So this one, I'm going to decorate this one now. And I think I'm going to hide some of that. Just looking at it, thinking what I'd like to put on here. This is probably going to stay blank, or even a side pocket, although it's an envelope, and you could, if you secured this, you could send this in the mail. But it's a fun thing to add into your journals. And then you can fill it with all kinds of fun ephemera. So right here, and it's got that fun crunch on it. And I do have some of my, I could add a flower right there. This is from Caroline's Craft Tree. I think I was trying to describe this when I was having a visit with Hazel, when she was interviewing me. We were having a heart-to-heart. I'm going to list Hazel's channel below. And I was trying to remember what the printable was. Well, this is what's left of it. It was some corner tucks, and this was a freebie from a long time ago when I first started my channel. And if I can find it, I will link it below, but I will link Caroline's Craft Tree channel. Oh, and I have one flower left. Don't want to get rid of that one. So this is yellow, and I think this is perfect. Perfect to go on here. And I'm going to put I'm going to add something behind here. Some more scraps. I have some lace. And I'm going to take off the bottom part of this lace because it just gives it a little more pliability. And I don't need the whole piece. Oh, that might be a little bit too small. And you can hear the cicadas today. They're in full action. That sound to me is, I hate to say it, but the end of summer, and I know we still have August and September. Okay, that will not be added in. I think what I'll do is I'll add this scrappy edge down here. This way. I could put the flower this way too. Yeah, I think I'll go like that. And then just glue it on. I've already done all my sewing, and so I think what I'll do is use my glue. I love using my scraps in my magazines and my different thrifted books and even old books that were from my mom and dad's place when I was a child. But I also love using prints. Free ones are fun. When I first started, that's what I did. I used free. I like combining them. And some of these I like to have some dimension, and obviously there's texture here, but some of them I like to keep flat also. In here, I could add something else. Maybe down here I will have this little piece of cotton. And I don't really have any inked edges on here, so you don't have to put ink on your items. Color that up a little bit. I can add a little ruffle down here. And I'm using white thread. That's what's in my machine right now. Sometimes when I'm making specific themed journals, I will change my thread, but for this kind of scrappy, fun scrappy work, I don't. Well, this is really wide, so I'm going to see if I can tear it. It's really, it's a very strong fabric. Oh, I love that edge. Love that edge. And I think I will go all the way to the end of it. I think this is from this is Roman blind tape, and I took off the little rings. This was in a thrifted grab bag. It It's fun to reimagine, you know, an item that's used for a specific purpose and then use it in your crafts. Oh, that, I like that. That's fun. I'm going to leave the back the way it is. Fresh. This can be decorated further. I could put something up here, maybe a stamp. I'm looking at my labels and a few little stickers that I had purchased from Amazon a while ago and things that I've just cut out. I'm going to use one that I made myself, and I was looking at some of these. That's too big of a label. This one's cute, but that's really faded, which I like. And I'm going to use the same one. So this is on a book page that I had used some watercolor, and then I took one of my stamps, and I'm going to use that one right up here. And I'm going to use the scrap that I pulled off of this part, and I'll take that and put it on the edge. It's fun to use them up because we can make more, and they're all going to look different because it's always different scraps that you're using or different book page. I keep putting this away, but I keep taking it out. And then some fun papers in there, some of my memo pads. For note-taking, for backing other papers, making pages like I did. So, and I'll link that video below. Oh, I might as well add one more. There, a couple of those. I just knotted the two ends of this leftover cheesecloth, and there's one, and I'm going to do another one. Maybe this one will be, oh, there's Anna's cat. That was fun. Let's do a different color. Let's do a pretty one this color. And for this one, I think what I'll do is, let's see, I have some of my embossed, well, that would be fun on here. I think I'll use that on the inside. And I'm still going to use my tissue paper for texture. Let me try and trim this. Very rough. What a great way to use up pattern tissue paper. If you have an abundance of this, I think it's a great way to get the texture that you like, that you desire, if you do. And use it up. Put this on. And we're dealing with scraps and leftovers and texture and all kinds of different looks. Just gonna hide the title. Maybe I'll do that. So this is going to go up like this. A little bit of lift right there. Take care of that. Going to secure that with I'm going to do a zigzag down here, and then I start this way. I sew up, around, and down, and then I pivot my piece, and then I come back the other way. I'm burnishing my edge, and this one cracked a bit. This was an old knitting pattern book. This is lace that I had scanned and photocopied, so I had a piece of that scrap left over. That would be fun too. Vintage laces. And then a pink, maybe this green dress. I think that'll be great. And I have this was a pocket that I never used on my journal that I made, so I might use it in here. But I also have this, which is blue, so that would be fun to use. Let me cut this out. Yeah, let's cut this one out. I'll tear that. That would be fun on here too. Okay, I've got a lot of options here. Just have to narrow it down. I like the butterfly. This would be fun on this side. Right here. This was my eco dyeing that I did out in the front yard. I'll link it below if you want to go watch that. And then I think I did a reveal too on that one. More texture. What can I put back here? Okay, I don't want to hide all that. So I won't put that on the back. You can tell it's a butterfly. This is what it's like when just scraps are scattered all over the place. It is just so fun. I can add something up here. Well, I thought I was going to add this pocket. Maybe I'll put it over here. Oh, I'm going to put it up here on the inside. Then I can hide some of this up here. I'm adding the stamped piece of fabric here. And then I also put a tiny piece of lace on the card. That can go in here, or it can go with the now this will fit in here, so maybe I'll do that. I also have this tag that I'm going to put in here. And then the inside can have a little piece of paper with a button card. I should add some buttons to this. On here I took some buttons and I did a quick sew on them added another little card just to this folded scrap piece of paper with held on with some washi tape. So that can go in here. There's not many things in this envelope, but it can be filled a lot more than that. And then on the outside, so I have this piece of stamped fabric cotton on here. And on this side, I'm going to add I think I'll leave some room to add, make it a tuck spot. Let's see if that works. Well, this was very unplanned, the way that this all came together, because I had no idea that all of this particular scrappy master board page would give me the sewing feel. And that's how it all comes together. One day you'll see me use my glue gun. I keep thinking that I've got to take it out, but then I get started and I end up not needing it. So I could put something in here. I gathered some of the scraps that are right beside me that I've been using. Now I have this. This would be a good sturdy thing to make a cluster on thing. So I think I'll use this one. Start with that, and they're probably going to be square. I don't know yet. I could give it a bit of folding and scrunching. Always fun. But if it's going to be a, yeah, okay, that'll be good there. I can use that. So then I'm just going to start layering. I was going to use this one that I had already made, but I thought maybe it would be fun to do it here with you. And I can always use more. And I do like this little piece that's hanging. And I have this piece of music digital, and I'll use some of that. On the top. These ones I didn't use any glue. I tacked them on either end. And this one I am using glue. I might be able to tack it. I like the look of the thread on there. I think I will use the last little piece of this rose. I'm mixing up the colors. Lots of blue, but there's some pink in there. I love the combination. Well, here's the piece of paper. Actually, maybe that would be... Okay, I like that. I've got the rose there. Maybe I'll keep the blue. This is something in Paris. So many options. I could add both of them. Maybe I'll do that. I was going to put the 52 on here, but I'm going to add a button instead. And it'll go. And it's a shank button. I'm going to use it anyway. It's one of the buttons I took out for the button card. I'll just use it. Well, now I'm going to put something on the back just to keep it neat and tidy. And why not add another piece of fabric right there. I finished it off with the piece of embroidery floss just to give it a simple tie, and I went horizontally. So I made this today and this today, this one, and well, I had made this one, but these are the ones we made together. This one here, I'm going to take it off like this. Filled it with some papers, memo papers, a couple of little cards. Very simple. You can add so many things to this using scraps on the desk, from the desk. Even adding a scrappy tie made with leftover cheesecloth. This one, I'm not going to untie it, I'll just take it off like this. So there's this one, and it has a button card, a couple of cards attached with washi tape, lined with pattern paper, this one too. And then here I added this pocket, some stamped on fabric, and these fun cards, journaling cards. The back was also some of the stamped fabric. And then added this tuck spot, backed up with some of the organza bag that I had, and then made this fun scrappy cluster, shabby scrappy cluster. With a button. Oh, that was so fun. I'm just going to continue making some. And if this kind of thread is too fiddly, then you can always add something a little thicker. I just wanted something fine on here. So fun and fast using scraps. They sound really fun and luscious. So many different ways to do this. Have fun creating with your scraps, your leftovers. Be adventurous and stay fresh, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.